Lesson 46. Swing and Jazz. Swing and Jazz. At this point, let's talk about the swing rhythm. The drums were born and developed with this rhythm, which has characterized the musical genre known as jazz. As usual, there's a lot to be said about swing and jazz. I'd advise you to do some research on the internet, where you can find a lot of material on the subject, and then to listen to the great interpreters of this musical genre and the great drummers, most of all, those from the past, to better understand the philosophy of jazz and how to play the swing rhythm. Specifically, to perform this rhythm, you have to use two eighth-note triplets as a reference point, and play the first stroke of the first triplet and the first and second of the second. Like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then you play the hi-hat with your left foot, right foot if you're left-handed, on the second and fourth movement. Let's listen to the swing rhythm. Swing. You may also find the swing rhythm written in sixteenths. The sound result doesn't change because you always have to think of the rhythm in triplets, in fast sixteenths. In mixed sixteenths. It's important to underline that there is no strict metronomic cadence in playing swing. A little like what we saw with the shuffle. Every drummer may slightly change the interval between one stroke and another, personalizing his own groove. What matters is that it is fluid and smooth running. The accents in the swing rhythm are played on the second and fourth movement. In some cases, for example, in very slow songs, it is possible that this accent is moved to the last stroke of the second triplet. Let's listen. Accent moved, slow tempos. Now, I'll play 4 typical swing rhythms that you'll have to play singularly, and then try alternating between them. Rhythm 1. Rhythm 2. Rhythm 3. Rhythm 4. Now, 4 exercises with which you can begin to play variations on the swing rhythm. Exercise A. Exercise B. Exercise C. Exercise D. Playing the same exercises without moving your hand from the ride, you'll hear just the offbeat strokes on the snare. Let's see. If you want to give more energy to the swing rhythm, you can add the bass drum played in fours, delicately. The exercises that we've played up until now represent just one elementary approach to swing and jazz. In order to correctly play this musical genre, you'll have to keep a solid rhythm on the ride cymbal and the hi-hat on the second and fourth movement, and at the same time, you'll have to improvise with the bass drum and snare in an interplay. That means conversing with the other musicians. To do this, you must have a certain degree of independence, specific to playing jazz. And I'd advise you to study it with some books that you can find in circulation, methods, DVDs, and more. The most studied in the world are the two books by the great maestro, Jim Chapin. One last recommendation regarding the dynamics. Different from musical genres such as pop and rock, where the drums are played at an important volume, with jazz, you have to contain the dynamics, controlling the strokes and giving more or less the same importance, for example, to a stroke played on the ride, rather than one played with the bass drum or snare. You can practice playing swing and jazz with a CD that I recommend to everybody. All for You by Diane Krall, because it is played perfectly a tempo, even though there aren't any drums. Have fun.